everybody wants to face each other. So is that where we're at right now with Canelo?
No. Crawford needs the money.
Crawford needs the money?
Yeah, he needs the money.
How can you convince fans that he can beat Canelo?
I ain't trying to convince y'all that he can beat Canelo. He's a good fighter.
You know, I'm gonna make all those doubters at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, they all gonna cry when they get home. You know, and I meant that. You know.
When Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez face up in the ring, Gervonta Davis claims that Alvarez will disgrace him. He tells everyone that even Yurkis Gamboa injured him during their battle, and emphasizes that Crawford is not unbeatable. This indicates that Canelo's stature and strength will be much too much for Davis. He thinks that they are clearly different from one another, and that Crawford's previous vulnerability will reappear against a more formidable and dangerous foe.
How can you convince fans that he can beat Canelo?
I ain't trying to convince y'all that he can beat Canelo. He's a good fighter. But, bro, I would say smaller fighters are always better than bigger fighters because they're smaller, they know how to move and everything like that. But this guy is great at what he do. He got, and another thing, bro.
The foundation of Terence Crawford's career has been disproving skeptics. The undisputed lightweight and welterweight champion is now aiming for the enormous task of going up against Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. Despite worries about strength and size, Crawford is sure that his abilities will be evident. Crawford's ferocious declaration, which highlights his confidence and mental toughness before one of boxing's most audacious maneuvers, said that everyone who doubts him will go home crying after fight night.
You know, I'm gonna make all those doubters at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, they all gonna cry when they get home. You know, and I meant that. You know, everybody's talking about the size and, you know, me being a smaller fighter, but if you look on the stage, I've been sparring these big dudes my whole career. Like, how I'm gonna take a punch? They punch me every time we spar. So, you know, it's okay. You know, once we get in the ring and they see something different, like each and every time, it's gonna be another excuse why the reason why Terence won and this and that and that is. But I can assure you, I'm gonna be victorious, and after that, we're gonna have another parade.
One of boxing's biggest names at lightweight, Gervonta Davis, has expressed his opinions about the Canelo-Crawford fight in a public manner. Davis, who is well known for his devastating knockout power, has frequently selected Canelo to defeat Crawford. Considering that Crawford has never engaged in combat at such a high weight, he contends that Alvarez's inherent height, strength, and major fight experience will overwhelm Crawford. Even against a fighter as talented as Crawford, Davis believes Canelo is the safer pick due to his track record in several divisions.
We got between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Tank is going to pick Canelo to knock Crawford out. We all know Tank had his little run-ins with Bud and things of that nature, to where Bud said he will fight Tank at 147, which is crazy to me, right? Tank ain't going to no damn 147. But nonetheless, Gervonta Tank Davis go ride with Canelo. And, you know, he a smart man. He a smart man. Because I think everybody and their mama see that, you know, Canelo Alvarez is too big for Terence Crawford, just like Terence Crawford knew it. But Gervonta Tank Davis always picked Canelo over everybody. Doesn't matter who it is.
Canelo Alvarez has the best resume and experience in contemporary boxing. Since facing Floyd Mayweather early in his career, Alvarez has continuously put himself to the test against more formidable foes. Canelo supporters contend that despite his skill at sparring, Crawford has not yet encountered opponents of the same class as bigger opponents. Canelo's confidence is bolstered by his experience of overcoming size obstacles as he gets ready for another great battle.
I don't see Crawford knocking Canelo out. If Canelo lets Crawford get away with boxing, he may have a shot. If Canelo comes in there and boxes and cut the ring, Canelo has a chance of knocking Crawford out.
What?
Yeah.
You said Canelo got a shot at knocking Crawford out?
I think he does.
Why?
Remember, Crawford coming up for 135. And I don't know if y'all remember when he fought Gamboa. Gamboa rocked him a little bit too.
That was
And
a
we
long
talking
time
about
ago,
Canelo
Coach.
Alvarez.
That was a long time ago. If we gonna do that, Canelo got rocked by Jose Miguel Cotto.
I didn't know that. But on the real, Canelo has faced a bigger opposition. He's faced a bigger and a harder punchers. Who has Crawford faced that's a big puncher? Canelo's taking more hard punches than Crawford. The tail of the tape is going to be if Crawford can take the power from Canelo and can Canelo box with Crawford and potentially hurt him and finish the fight.
When assessing this contest, analysts have been eager to urge fans not to depend on previous comparisons. Terence Crawford is not Floyd Mayweather, and Canelo Alvarez is not Errol Spence Jr. Canelo contributes his own distinct style, granite chin, explosive power, and upper body movement. Crawford is also unmatched in his versatility and switch-hitting skills. Experts stress that historical blueprints cannot be used to gauge this battle. Rather, it symbolizes a new style clash between two exceptional fighters who each bring something unique to the ring.
Terence Crawford is a dog, that's a fact. Heart of a lion, that's a fact. Great boxer, great skills, high IQ, future Hall of Famer, that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. You know what else is a fact, ladies and gentlemen? Terence Crawford cannot afford to get hit with these same shots by Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is not the mean machine. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa, and he's for damn sure not Errol Spence Jr. Just like Terence Crawford is not Floyd Mayweather or Lara. We trying to say that Bud's gonna do the same thing that Mayweather was able to do. Two different styles, two different type of fighters. Mayweather is a pure boxer. Terence Crawford is not a pure boxer. That does not mean that he can't box. Before y'all try to kill me in the comment section. Yes, he has the ability to box, but Terence Crawford is a boxer puncher, ladies and gentlemen. He gives angles, but he doesn't move like a Floyd Mayweather or a Lara. He's not on his toes like that. And he also likes to exchange when he gets hurt, and that can be to his detriment. And if he exchanged with Canelo a little too long, it might be NyQuil time. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section.
Canelo Alvarez comes into the battle with an advantage because to his stature and experience. He routinely fights at 168 pounds. Although it is new for Crawford, Canelo has faced several opponents who are eligible for the Hall of Fame. Crawford, on the other hand, is thought to be the most technically proficient fighter in the sport right now. He is a nightmare for any opponent due to his timing, counterpunch, and stance-changing skills. As a result, this clash puts skill and flexibility against size and experience.
Boxing odd makers have Canelo versus Crawford Gillette close. Now, obviously, Canelo has the size advantage. He's 3 weight divisions heavier than Crawford. And most people believe that Crawford carries the skill advantage, being an overall more skilled fighter. Neither guy is known for tremendous defense, but it's still solid. And of course, they're both chiseled into the Mount Rushmore of pugilism for their ironclad wills. The one area that people say Canelo might have the advantage is in experience fighting heavier dudes. Now, obviously, all fighters spar out of their weight classes. But when it comes to actually fighting in the pro ranks with those 10-ounce gloves, Canelo's the only one between the two of them that has a multitude of experience fighting super middleweights and light heavyweights in the pro ranks. So does this slight advantage give Canelo the nod and make him a bit of a favorite? Or is Crawford going to prove that size doesn't matter and it's skills that pay the bills? What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments.
Abel Sanchez, an experienced trainer, said, Sanchez claims that Crawford's physique and natural weight have never allowed him to fight at this level, making the challenge a dangerous leap. He underlined that even the most accomplished boxers may face challenges that skill alone cannot overcome when they advance in their careers. Sanchez gave the example of Dimitri Bivol defeating Canelo. Even though Val was a naturally light heavyweight with significant size and style advantages, he still had to give it his all to win. He made a really clear point. Crawford faces an even more difficult struggle against Alvarez if a larger, stronger fighter like Bob had to exert all of his might. Sanchez's remarks highlight how big of a task Crawford is taking on.
He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I just think that moving up in weight without having fights to merit that, I think it's the wrong move. But he couldn't handle a 154-pounder the way that he was handling everybody else before. And Madrimov is not Canelo. Canelo's been used to fighting all the bigger guys and has done very well with the bigger guys. Nobody's hurt him. Nobody's heard of him. He's fought the biggest punch. He fought Gennady. Come on, he fought Gennady twice, really the good fights, and then Bivol couldn't. Bivol hit him with everything and couldn't hurt him. So how's Terence gonna do that? I don't think he can. I see Canelo going away maybe in a 16-12, 17-13 kind of fight. The first 3 or 4 rounds will be difficult for Canelo, or a little harder for Canelo because of the speed. But once he just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the first 3 or 4 rounds where Kell was fast. But Terence is going to expose himself when he throws his punches, and Canelo's going to finally get this timing down, and I think we'll be able to control the fight.
Do you see a version of Canelo now that is slowing down? Obviously, a lot of people might point towards the Williams Skull fight, but again, despite how that one played out, people talk about his lack of motivation maybe for a fight like that. But do you see this version of Canelo declining?
No, I think the lack of motivation because of the opponent could have been the reason for that fight. I think these guys at that level, once they get a name, they're looking at a name. It's a different story. They're not only their motivation, but they're waking up earlier in the morning to go run. All those things come into play because they know they have a challenge ahead of them.
One thing with the weight, and again, Buddy spoke to me about this, is he said that if he was Terence, he'd come in just over the 160 limit, so he's just inside the 168 limit to try and keep a bit more of that speed instead of just like bulking up. Do you agree with that sentiment, or if you was Terence, would you just bulk up?
Well, let me say this. Like everybody else, I read or I watch some of the writings on the internet, and to see that Terence is weighing 186, 190 pounds, I think that's completely the wrong way to do it.
Crawford's preparation alarmed renowned trainer Robert Garcia, who has worked with several world winners. Garcia cautioned that rapidly gaining weight can detract from a fighter's innate abilities, especially reflexes and speed, which characterize Crawford's approach. Additionally, he brushed off parallels to Floyd Mayweather, telling supporters that Mayweather always fought intelligently and within his weight constraints. If Garcia is slowed down or his stamina is impacted by the additional weight, Crawford's genius could not entirely translate to super middleweight.